Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. It is April 12th, which means we're pretty much in the midst of the rainy April. That's very typical for New York. It has been rain most days, and so we haven't really been able to get into the garden and do a whole lot yet just because it's so wet and everything's so muddy and sticky. It's dry right this second, but it's misting just like tiny bit, and dark clouds are coming. So it's gonna get really yucky again. I am starting to harden off plants though, so that they are ready as soon as we are able to move them outside. These are onions. And then over here, I've got my brassicas. They're looking a little rough just because this is only the second time they've been outside. And some of these got some sun damage from, it was actually from the grow lights in the basement because they just kept growing up and up. But these have been kind of blown around by the wind. They'll come right back, they're fine. Some more onions and then celery in the back there. But as soon as it dries out, we can get in the garden. We absolutely will. And today I went and got something. I've said before we were going to have compost delivered from a local company. Well, I've contacted them a couple times and they did tell me initially that they would have compost this year and they would be able to deliver it. But every time I've reached out to order, they haven't really responded. So I've looked at a couple other places and their prices are just insane. So at the one place that I plan on getting it from, I could get, I believe it was either 30 or 35 per cubic yard, and then 65 delivery fee, and they could do 18 cubic yards at one time. And so it was going to be around $600 is what it would have been. And the other place was $45 per cubic yard. They could only do 4 to 5 yards at a time, and it was $65 per delivery. So that would have been a lot more expensive. So the other alternative option was our local waste authority does have compost. And it's not the best compost in the world, but they do test it and they make sure it's safe. The only thing is it is definitely a bit woody and it's just not spectacular. But it works and it's compost and it is nutritious and it will help our soil a lot. So I went and got our first load today. We will need to get multiple loads. I still would like to get around 18 cubic yards and I can only get about 3 at a time. Space wise, I could fit more, but I probably could fit more if it was dry, but it's been rainy and it is so wet. I mean, this is just sopping wet. Like it's so sticky because it's so wet. And so I could only get 3 yards at a time because even with 3 yards, it was weighing down the trailer and the truck quite a bit. It is a little wood chippy. It's a little woody still. And that's a lot of what this is. It's like wood chips from clippings. Oh, I better get inside. It's raining. I'll run into the garage real quick. But it's a little woody. It's not the most spectacular, but it'll work and it's going to help a lot. Our soil is definitely very deficient and we need some help. So it was better than doing nothing. And I'll show you our addition to the farm. I started to film a little video of us getting some new chicks and then I just never finished the video. So I might insert a little bit of it, but my daughter and I went to Tractor Supply last week and my husband okayed 6 chicks. We eat a ton of eggs, like a ton of eggs. My husband and I have been going through way more eggs than we ever used to. So we decided to get some more, even though I know these won't lay for 6 months. We decided to just go ahead and get chicks. In the past, we have gotten, started hens, pullets or started older hens from people locally. And we had them bring a lot of illness to our farm. So we don't ever want to do that again. So we got 8 chicks. So again, my husband okayed 6, but he knew saying 6 to me meant more than 6. And so I got 8. He told me afterwards, he was like, I kind of thought you were going to get 10. And I was like, darn it, I could have gotten 10. In New York State, you have to buy 6 though, at least. So I can't go back and get 2 more. All right, so we're back home with the chickies, and we ended up with 4 Rhode Island Red and 4 Black Sex Link. They're all pullets, so we're gonna get them in the brooder. They're kind of hiding, so there's 3 of them. Hi, babies. So we got 4 Rhode Island Red and 4 sex-linked, black sex-linked hens, little pullets. Well, while I was in the garage, the rain really started to come down hard. So I had to run inside because it's really raining now. Which I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was coming. I could see the dark clouds and it was supposed to rain this afternoon anyways. But I just didn't think it was going to start right now. So yeah, we got those chicks and we'll keep them in the brooder for a couple months and then put them out with the hens. We'll slowly introduce them. I'll put them like in a kennel inside the coop initially just to get them used to being around them and so they don't fight as much. We've done that before and they've done really well, so I'm not super worried about it. And we had talked about not raising meat chickens this year, but again, my husband and I are trying to eat really healthy. We've been trying to eat really clean and just kind of get our health in a little bit better shape. So we've been going through a lot of chickens. So we did go ahead and place an order for Cornish cross. They won't come until July. We like process or raising them through the summer and then butchering them like in September when it starts to cool down. So that'll be good. But we ordered 40 of those, even though we weren't gonna do any this year. And then also this last week, I started all of my tomatoes and I started some herbs and none of them are germinated yet, which is fine. The peppers have started to germinate, so I'm gonna show you guys those. So here are the peppers that have germinated. What the heck? This is the second weed plant, not like the drug weed, like a weed. It's the second one that's come up in this soil. But they are growing well. There are a few areas where we've got like some spotty germination, like almost that whole row didn't germinate. But there's some that also have two, so I'll just split them eventually. Bunch of peppers. These are eggplants right here. So I decided to start a few of those. That's supposed to be an eggplant too, but that one didn't germinate. But overall, really good. Like that one's got 3 in it, so I'll separate those out. These are the tomato ones. Obviously, again, haven't germinated yet, which I'm not surprised. These are all tomatoes. Those are all herbs. And more tomatoes. I start a lot of tomatoes. I love growing tomatoes. It's just fun for me. I don't know. Tomatoes are something I really enjoy growing. I also really enjoy processing them. But now that these are all started, this is all the seeds I'm going to start indoors. I'm not going to start anything else indoors. In the past, I've started some squash and stuff. But you really just don't need to. I'm going to direct sow those. But in the next couple weeks, I need to get out all those brassicas, all the onions. I need to start sowing peas, beets, carrots. Potatoes will go out soon. So we're just about getting into like the full planting, even though our estimated last frost is not until May 11th. And really, normally we wait a week or two after that to plant out like the tomatoes and peppers. It's time to get planting the cool weather stuff. Like we're finally there. I'm finally at the point of like we can play in the dirt and get planting. I also did receive my asparagus plants yesterday. I ordered from Burpees. Oh no, is it Gurney's or Burpees? One of the two. Some Mary Washington asparagus. So those came yesterday. They're in the fridge right now because I needed to get the compost. So once it dries up in the next day or two, I will get those outside and get those planted. And strawberries are gonna be coming in the next week, and we'll get those planted out. I'm so excited. I'm so ready. It's planting time. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.